Well, here's the whole gang, with the exception of my wife's Honda Pilot. If you've been watching the channel, you're familiar with Extreme Ray, my 1969 Corvette resto mod. Over here is my youngest son Max's Cadillac CTS4 all-wheel drive coupe, 2014. We did the V conversion on the front end, including the hood. He's got the V wheels at his house. He's been running the factory rims and some winter tires for the winter. I'll be putting the V rims back on here in a week or two. Obviously, Orange Crush, my 2005 Honda Pilot that's been totaled out 3 times and still licensed and registered and back on the road with full coverage insurance. This is my daily. And my oldest son Rex's 1999 Town and Country, which we're converting into a camera vehicle so that we can do some better YouTube videos of these cars in action. And this is the back of the shop. So here's an overall view from my house. Took a lot of tax returns to get all this concrete poured, and my friend and I did all that work by ourselves, and I believe it was still $10,000 worth of concrete. So, well, let's start at the front. This is the front of the shop. Obviously a direct route from the back of the house. I have a man door here. So this is it. It's 30 by 30. When my youngest son Max was 10 years old in 2007, he and I built this ourselves. At the time, the concrete with the plumbing, I have a 9-foot in-floor drain. And in this room here, which we'll talk about in a second, I have a grinder sump for my toilet, hot water heater for the radiant heat floor, and the deep sink. So the concrete and the plumbing was $5,000, to give you an idea. You know, I don't know how long ago, 15 years ago, I guess, something like that. The lumber was only $1,700. The trusses were $1,000. All of the sheeting and the stick lumber was $700. So we built this ourselves, and in 3 days we had it up and sheeted. I got to give him credit. Max was a trooper. He even filled out a time card and logged his hours, and I paid him hourly. That was the deal. So I got my toolboxes here. I got my lift here. I was on the fence about where I wanted the lift, but as you can see over here, I shown in a different video, and maybe it was on Instagram. This lift has wheels. Those wheels get plugged into some holes underneath the ramp with pins, and then the bars hit here, and it's a cantilever effect, and it raises this up. One of the reasons I put it over here in front of the small door was to clear the garage door opener, and I would still have room around me to work. If I put it over here with the 16-foot door, I couldn't bring it as forward as I would like, and I have too much stuff on each side. So as you can see, I tried to keep stuff off the walls and out of my way so that I'm not knocking into stuff. This is my workbench table here, which is nice because I can move it. It's aluminum. I can take this pad off. I weld on it. I just clamp the ground to the table, weld on it, clamp the ground to the vise. This is my rag barrel. I keep covered, keep the rags clean if I'm grinding, doing any type of dirt. You'll have to excuse this. That's a spare cover for my awning that I just put up. This is my bag jack that I can use on the ramp. I had that before I got the center jack, which is nice. Obviously, these legs extend, and I have extensions on the other end. And these come out, and I can get the van up off the ramp, as well as the Corvette, with or without extensions. It's got drain pads. It's got a hard tray that you can use a bottle jack for, which was another thing that I was using to get cars off the ramp at some time. This is my work cart here. Trash can, obviously. If you'll notice that my airlines all have their own regulators with filters. I have one over there, and I have one here. I have one on the ceiling without a filter. It's usually what I use to just air tires or blow stuff off with a blowgun. Floor jack, which I'm donating to my son Max so he can change his Cadillac wheels on his own in his own house now. My $200 blast cabinet, I got that, I don't know, Harbor Freight, maybe Rural King actually. I've made my own dust vacuum system with an old shop vac. I replaced it from over here. This is the new shop vac that I use to vacuum the cars and clean the cars up. Now this thing's on the end of its life cycle, you know, using silica sand, you know, it's getting in that motor and it's tearing the bearings up, but you know, it's lasted as long as this shop's been up. So, but I just used it the other day and I think it's on its way out. This is my own filter design. It's a water filter casing I got at Ace Hardware. I filled it with desiccant to keep the moisture out of the media as I blast parts. This is my on-off valve. This is you have to excuse that. That's the back window out of my Corvette. It's removable. 68 to 72 Corvettes have removable rear windows. My welder, my plas cutter broke, unfortunately, so I'm out of a plas cutter. And my press with my custom Hurst shifter handle on the holding pin. But what I like about this shop and the way I designed it was, if you see on the ceiling, I have an attic fan here, which is nice for in the summer. I can keep air circulating. But if you're familiar with the South or even the Midwest, you know, it is 1,000,000% humidity in Southern Illinois. So if I want to work in the evening, between the humidity and the insects, it's trying it best. So I shut the big garage doors and I open my 3 windows here, and my storm door on the man door has a screen window here that I open, and then I turn the attic fan on and I can pull ventilation through here without having to swat June bugs and cicadas and mosquitoes and flies off me. The other thing that I do is I have a bug zapper hanging up here that I usually run 24/7. And if you don't have any bugs, there's nothing for the spiders to eat, and the spiders generally die out, and then you don't have spiders. I got a remote Ring doorbell for my Ring system. So if I'm out working in the shop and my wife's gone or taking a nap and somebody comes to the house, I'll know when they ring the doorbell and I can run out there, and it's usually the UPS guy delivering parts. So let's move into here. I built this 8x8 room for several reasons. One, I didn't want to run into the house every 5 seconds to go to the bathroom. So I put a toilet in, and it has a grinder sump. I trenched for water, gas, electric, and sewer. So my water valve is there that I can shut the water off to the shop. I also have one in the house that I can shut the water off to the shop from the house as well. My grinder sump for the toilet, and that's where the drain drains into. I have a drain here in case I have a water heater leak or a toilet leak or something, so that it won't just flood the shop, and it'll run back into the grinder sump, and it'll pump back out to the sewer system, which I tied into the city sewer system. So this is kind of my workbench. It's a little filthy. Got a spare rim for the van. I don't have a spare tire, so I got another 5-spoked rim that's on there that matches. There's my pre-X bin of grade 8 nuts and bolts. These are my Rubbermaid cabinets. These are awesome. I have these in my house garage too. And one of the reasons that I like them is they're plastic, hence Rubbermaid. They don't rust, they don't rot. If oil seeps out of a container, which it does. I have cardboard here because I got a lot of WD-40 and Aircroil and PB Blaster, all kinds of stuff that leaks out here. At least the cardboard will soak it up, but it doesn't create that big of a mess, and it's plastic and it cleans up really easy. This is my detailing bin. I got a rag here to soak up all of the Armor All and spray wax and leather cleaner, but they're really nice. And you're probably asking yourself, well, gee, John, those are awful high. So, well, to solve that problem, we have this. Step up here, step up here, step onto the cabinet. Next thing you know, you're at the top. So, everything's good. I got a little bit of extra storage for stuff I don't use. Probably got some oh yeah, look at that, Corvette parts. Sill plate, fuel line, body straps to take the body off the Corvette. So it all works out pretty good. The other thing that I designed in this shop is it gets pretty cold in Illinois. We usually don't have spring or fall, just winter and summer. This is my radiant heat floor. I got 3 separate zones. I just built this manifold off the cuff. Comes off the hot water heater, goes into 3 separate zones. Why 3 separate zones? Well, as the concrete ages and starts to crack, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to crack a line. So if you only have 1 zone and you crack a water line, now your whole radiant heat is garbage. So if for some reason I have a break, I can isolate it and I can just shut one off. In the summer, I shut them all off. These are PEX connectors. You can take them off. You can blow the lines out. You can clean them out. This is a 24 volt pump I got off of Granger. I have a converter to convert the 24 volts to 110. I have a relay to kick it on and off. And I have a heat thermostat. This black cover here, I kind of made a mistake putting this thermostat here because it's in front of this window, and when the sun comes in and hits this, it'll warm this up, and it'll trick the system into thinking it's warmer in here than it is. So this is kind of a makeshift Band-Aid. What I really need to do is get a pull-down shade right there for the winter time and just close that window off. But so I have my thermostat there. It's thermostatically controlled. Keeps everything nice and warm. Got my compressor in here as well. And I never hooked it up, but I used to work in irrigation some years ago, and I actually installed an irrigation control system for my lawn, which never got hooked up because I hate lawn care. Rather work on Corvettes. So I have remnants of my 1983 Hurst Olds, my lightning rods. I'm looking for a car to put those in someday. And of course, the all-important refrigerator with Gatorade. So I got a 30-gallon water heater that runs the system, which isn't really sufficient, but it's worked all these years. I don't keep it super warm in here. The main reason for the heated floor was basically to keep the moisture out of the shop in the winter, keep everything from condensating, keep my tools from rusting, just to make it a little bit more livable. Eventually, what I'd like to do is get a forced air heater and put it up in that corner. I do have gas out here to run that water heater, so that wouldn't be that far of a stretch. But that's it in a nutshell. I do have the walls of this 8x8 room insulated so that when I'm running the compressor, I can shut the door and it doesn't drive me out of my mind. And of course, the all-important hot and cold water for washing your cars here in the winter. So that's it in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of people have asked me about it. This is not a professional shop. This is my house. Last note, my doors are insulated as well, and they have aluminum backing on them to prevent the melting of the insulation with grinding and welding sparks. So all in all, pretty cool. I'm very happy with it. It served me well. Unfortunately, this is the largest the city would let me build. I wanted to build a 60 by 40. I have the room, but I was held up at 1,000 square feet. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. We're gonna have a few more videos coming out. Hopefully in the next week or two. I'm getting the Element SC rims that are on my Honda. I got another set of those, being powder coated dark gray, for my wife's Honda Pilot. I hope to get those on this week. And I plan on making a road video here in Extreme Race shortly, and we'll try and get that posted for you. So I appreciate you guys subscribing. Keep coming back, looking for more videos. We'll talk to you next time.